Hello YouTube, Slacker Stacker here, and I just wanted to say Happy Independence Day. I hope everybody out there is having a really good and safe 4th of July. I have a video for you today, but before I get into that, there's one special thing I really have to do, To all the veterans and current military out there, I thank you for your service. Thank you for having fought and continue to fight for our country. So this video is really out to you guys. So on our Independence Day, what's the best thing to really discuss? Constitutional silver. Okay, a lot of you people may have silver in your own pocket, in your spare change bucket, you know, the penny jar, that type of thing. I mentioned it in my last video. Most of you who have joined in this type of activity already know about this. Yeah, there are some people out there who don't. So for all the new guys out there who are just now getting into collecting silver, this is some information you may want to pay attention to. So what am I looking at here? Just a bunch of spare change. You know, now myself, I'm a guy, you know, don't like getting out there in the crowds and shopping all over the place. I like to go, get my item, pay for it, get out of there. So usually, I don't want to sit there and count out all the exact change and everything. I just put down the bill, get my change, and then I leave and go on to the next errand. Which, you know, now you get these piles of change which kind of tend to stack up. Well, that's actually kind of a good thing. It's a roundabout way of saving money. But it's also a virtual little treasure trove. And I can see a little bit there right now that's intriguing. Can you? Can you see it? Treasure! Sorry, that was a personal joke with a viewer of mine. But yes, there is silver in that pile there. And you could easily miss it. Now what we have here are some silver quarters. There's some silver dimes. And the rest of this stuff is just run-of-the-mill, spare change, something you're going to get every day. Toss it in a jar, save it, pile it up, and being new to the stacking business, go to a Coinstar machine or your coin shop, cash it in for fiat money, and then go build your stack. That's what I plan on doing with it. So now, back to the constitutional silver. Let me clean this up for you. And I have a little example. In 1964 and below, sorry, forgive me, trying to position this. In 1964 and below, the coinage in the half dollars, the quarters, and the dimes were all made of 90% silver. Okay? Excuse me. Now, there's ways you can differentiate that. Sorry, my pronunciation. So, from 1964 and below, that's 19% silver. And, of course, you're going to notice that by the dates. There are other ways. You have what we call constitutional silver. You'll also hear it called junk silver, but, of course, it's not junk because stackers go after this stuff. Trust me, silver is silver. So, what we're going to look for is what you call a silver coin and a clad coin. Now, the two half dollars I have, one of them I don't have a Kennedy that is a silver Kennedy, but the Franklin dollar, or the Franklin half dollar, is definitely silver. And the way you can tell, and I don't know if you can really see this, it's kind of hard, but if you look at the edges, which I don't know if the camera's really picking them up, the clad version, which is a 1971 Kennedy, you can actually see the copper and the zinc in it. There's a copper band in the edge, where the Franklin is just clear. I mean, it's just silver. It really stands out. And you're going to see the same thing with the quarters. And I have a clad and a silver quarter. The clad, you can see the copper on the edge of the coin. The silver, you don't. It's just a clean white silver. Okay? It's also going to be that way. It's also going to be that way on the dimes. The dimes are going to be clad with that copper ridge. And, of course, you know, the ones that are silver, you'll see the difference. Okay? Now, it's a little bit different with the half dollars. You've got your 64 and below, 90% silver, like your Franklins and your Kennedys. Then you're going to have your 65 through 1970. Now those half dollars, they are 40% silver. Not as pure as the 64 and below, but it is silver. Now those edges might be just a little bit harder to tell because they do have a little bit more of the copper mixed in with them. But you are able to see them. And of course you can always pick them out by the date. Now the quarters and the dimes, they're not like that. 64 and below, 64 and below, they're silver. 65 and up, they're not. That's just done. So the half dollars, they are kind of an exception to the term. Now, there's also one I didn't know about, and this is why I wanted to make this video, and I'm going to have to take a lot closer look. But I found out that some of the Eisenhower silver dollars are actually 40% silver. I had no idea about this. The Eisenhowers, a little ringing in there. So the Eisenhower silver dollar, they're 40% silver, and they're only silver in the years of 1971 to 1976. And even then you have to be careful. It's only those of those years that have the S mint mark. If it does not have the S mint mark, then it's just a standard clad coin, and well, nice to look at, but no worth as far as silver value. So what I want to do, and I know this will help me because I've been through videos, I've been through Google, I've been through all kinds of searches just to get the dates down, trying to remember them in my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these up, hopefully put them over here so you can either pause the video, take a picture with your phone, or I'll just set that up here. You know which ones are which. I'll just give you the information so you can either take a picture with your phone or pause the video and write it down. Anyway, this is information and some good dates and numbers that you really want to keep track of if you're just now getting into the game. You'd be surprised just how much you find. I mean, you're not going to find it every time you dig in your change pocket, but they come up more often than not. Now, one of the ways, and this I really can't show you, you'll have to hear it, that you can kind of pick it out, is that I have a 1962 silver quarter, and I have a, trying to see it, my eyes are not as good as they used to be, 2013. Okay, so this one's silver, that one is clad. Now listen to what happens when I, hear that? Listen to this when I drop it on the table. Okay, now listen to the silver one. Hear that? Higher tone. Much higher tone. And that's how I found several of these guys. Going through my change, I mean, I was just kind of counting and seeing what I had, and I dropped a dime, and it had that high-pitched ring to it, and I was like, ooh, that's different. Picked it up. Sure enough, it was about like a 1953 dime, so that was a 90% silver coin. And it is here somewhere. But those are the two ways you can tell between silver and clad. The ping test, that's one of the non-destructive tests to see if your silver is real. And then, you know, differentiating between silver and clad, looking at the edges to see that copper band. And again, I know this camera may not be able to show it, but that copper band on that clad, and then just a nice silver face on the silver coin. So that's the other way. And you can get, once you get used to it, you can take a whole roll of quarters and just look down the sides and pick that bright silver out, you know, against all that copper, you know, the copper banding there. And you'll find silver coins that way and add to your stack. So this is junk silver. It's not 999 pure. It does have copper mixed in with it, but it does have a melt value. And currently, right now, I'd say for every dollar face value, I think you were to multiply it by 12 to 14 times, and that is your melt value. I hope some of this information was helpful. Oh, I do have another example. I'm sorry. I have another example of your constitutional silver. It's a Morgan dollar. It's a 1921 Morgan dollar. It may be kind of hard to see because I have it in a case. This one will never leave my possession. I mean, that to me, it's a family heirloom. It belonged to my grandfather. It belonged to my dad, and then it passed down to me. So that's why I keep it in a special case. There's a special story behind it. If you want to hear that story, I'll feature the coin again in another video. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear the story. Please give my channel a like and subscribe. I hope this information was useful. I have a pretty good unboxing coming up pretty soon, so I'll be making another video probably this coming weekend. I have some other tips I want to add into in another video. It has to do with non-destructive testing. Basically, I'll probably call that video one man's junk is another man's silver, because, you know, they call it junk silver. Ha ha, weak joke, I know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please check back. I'm coming up with more ideas for more information for newcomers. I do believe that these dates with the silver content of regular constitutional coins, I believe that's important, especially if you had no idea it was going on. I knew about the 64 and below, but the 40%, 71 through 76, and the for the Eisenhowers, and I had no idea until I really started digging online for more information on silver collections. So saved you the trouble from digging through the computer. So anyway, you guys have a great 4th. Be safe. Check out the channel, subscribe, and you have a great night.